Hello, I'm Laura. It's Wednesday, May 20th, 2026, and these are today's Heartlines. Our theme for Heartlines this week is What's Next? And that's based on the fact that it is graduation season. And sometimes in life, we choose the path of graduation, whether it's through going to school or moving from one project to the next, or one job to the next, or from one phase of life to the next. Even getting up in the morning and asking ourselves, what's next, is a form of graduating by commencing into something new. And other times, our call to deepen who we are and to step into a new way of being comes through tragic events. And this week we saw such an event in San Diego on Monday with a shooting at a mosque where 3 people were killed, including a security guard. And tragically, the perpetrators, who were young teenagers, took their own lives. And this really touched my heart very deeply, with such a sadness at where a soul can be so caught up in its own fear or limited way of seeing life that it feels the only way out is to do such a thing to others. And what is it that we can do about this? What is possibly heartwarming in this, given that today is Wednesday, and I usually do a heartwarming story on Wednesday? Well, I don't know if I can do an all-cheery heartwarming story, but there is certainly a heartfelt response to our humanity that we can have. You see, the same day that this took place in San Diego, the Pope met with Jordan's Royal Institute of Interfaith Studies at a colloquium on human compassion and empathy in modern times. And Pope Leo pointed out that Rafa is the gift bestowed by God in the hearts of believers, that Al-Ra'uf is called the ever compassionate. And so compassion, which comes from the divine, is instilled within our own hearts. And I believe it is in every heart if we know how to go deeply enough to find it. And so today is really about compassion, because as I heard this on the news, the empathy that comes from that compassion was struck in my heart. And I felt for the people who were the victims of this shooting. And I felt for the people who were so confused that they chose this way to act out their confusion. So what can we do in today's world with where we are to actually create that greater world of peace that I spoke of earlier this week? Well, we can start with our own relationships, our close relationships in life, our community relationships, and any ideas that we may have of contributing to people around the world. We can call forth the compassion of an open heart to make a positive difference. So when we hear of tragic events, let's open our hearts. Let's look for that compassion. Let's acknowledge the feelings we feel. They may be sadness, they may be anger, but then let's be compassionate with ourselves enough to know that our human response can lead to something greater than we have known. It can lead to a deepening of our sensitivity for each other, of our empathy for each other, and of our compassion. So let's be in touch. with that open heart and that compassion that we all have right now by taking a deep breath and closing our eyes and going into a moment of silence as we open our hearts to this idea. I open my heart to compassionate connection by listening to understand and speaking to make a positive difference with others. I open my heart to compassionate connection by listening to understand and speaking to make a positive difference with others. And so it is. So, making a difference in the world starts with making a difference right where you are, in the relationships that surround you, as you listen to understand and speak to make a positive difference with compassionate and loving and supportive words. This is how we can build a better world, step by step, brick by brick. We are creating a foundation for peace. Pope Leo said, to revive humanity where it has grown cold, to give voice to those who suffer, and to transform indifference into solidarity. This is why we are here, connecting with each other in compassion. Thank you for connecting with me today, and have a wonderful day.